This is Barnstable Today for Friday, April 17th. Welcome aboard. I'm Mark Mumford. And please keep in mind that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
The Town Council tackles the fiscal year 2010 capital improvement program. That's our main focus today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
However, before the council dove into the list of capital improvement funding requests, Town Manager John Klim was given an opportunity for a special acknowledgement.
Do we have anyone else who would like to speak? Seeing no one, I'd close public comment at this time. If we could hear from the Town Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would beg your indulgence to make one comment this evening. As you know, for many months now, it's become more and more clear that this community is facing major financial challenges. As you know, much of our budget deals with the costs of personnel. And more than a few of you have asked from time to time what the status is of our union contracts. And as you know from my response, none of our union contracts are up for another year. So the truth is that I, as your town manager, had no right to expect or even ask our unions to sit down at the table to discuss our financial challenges. But I did that. And I'm here tonight to say that every one of our unions, every one, agreed to a number of meetings and ultimately agreed to much more than that. As you know, over the last 5 or 10 years, every one of our employees have been asked to do more with less. We've lost a lot of employees. But our service calls and the expectations have never been reduced. The net result of our conversations have led to $332,000 of concessions that were made by every one of our unions. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge the union leadership that's here this evening, and through them to thank every one of our employees who not only take a tremendous amount of pride in being Barnstable employees, but they also have a tremendous love for this community. I would hope all of you will join me in recognizing and thanking Bob Bergman, Aaron Sonnabend, Robin Anderson and Sally Shea from BMEA, officers Chris Kelsey and Therese Goodearl from Mass Cops, and I would also like to recognize Mark Tubbs from AFSCME and Sergeant Andrew McKenna from IBPO, who are part of these conversations. Would you please stand so that we could recognize you? Their actions make me very proud to be a Barnstable employee.
As the council dove into the list of capital improvement items, Councilor Leah Curtis read the item carrying one of the biggest price tags.
Keep me awake, no. I move item 2009-091 to a public hearing. It's the CIP appropriation of $3,250,000 from the Capital Trust Fund. Ordered that the sum of $3,250,000 be appropriated for the purpose of funding the repair of the town's public roads and drainage systems as outlined in the FY 210 to 214 capital improvement plan as recommended by the town manager, and that to meet this appropriation, that $3,250,000 be transferred from available funds within the town's capital trust fund, and that the town manager is authorized to contract for and expend the appropriation made available for these purposes, and be authorized to accept any grants or gifts in relation thereto, subject to the approval of the town council, sponsored by town manager John Klim.
DPW Director Mark Ells put the road repair appropriation question in context by detailing how such money has been used in the recent past.
Thank you. Again, Mark Ells, Director of Public Works. This is our annual appropriation for our public roads program. This would be the fourth year that we would receive substantial funding to put toward our largest infrastructure within our community. We have over 260 miles of public roads that we maintain and we repair. very briefly, I just want to share with you some of the results of those past investments that you've made. We've seen our PCI rating on our public roads stabilize and begin to increase. We're trying to get into the 80s range, which maybe you can feel as though it's a B range for our roads. It makes a substantial difference on the amount of maintenance that we're required to do annually. It also helps us to not have to go out there and deal with crisis management situations. Most of what we're seeing we're able to do now is plan management of our roads, even in a year after a winter like we've had. We are out there patching potholes, and we do have a very aggressive spring roads paving and grind and pave and chip seal and crack seal scheduled coming up from last year's funds. I can also tell you that our drainage complaints on public roads are down 36% since we've started this program. That doesn't mean that we're not hearing from our residents on private roads more regularly, but on our public roads we have seen a substantial decrease. Much of what we're doing on our public roads are drainage repairs. 34 sites in 07. We did 32 sites in 08. We're planning to do more sites in more drainage sites in 09. We're also out there doing regular crack sealing and chip sealing of our roads. We did not do that. We were doing maybe chip sealing and some crack sealing maybe on a 5-year increment before. So that also allows us to hold the roads in place for a longer time. So again, we can plan for when we will go out there and do more substantial projects like grind and pave or actual reconstruction of our roadways. And we've completed some substantial projects, again, which if you would like, I can certainly go through all of those. But most recently, we were able to open bids on School Street in Cotuit, and we'll be proceeding on that. So that's all positive relative to the investment of these funds, and we certainly now can turn to our residents and be able to tell them when we plan to address the concerns on their public roads.
Then Mark Ells outlined just how the $3.2 million in road repair funds would be spent in fiscal year 2010.
What the $3.25 million request is for this year is to move forward with the reconstruction of Barg Road and Marston's Mills. We've moved through a very actually extensive permitting and design process on that roadway. There's a culvert involved, 2 bogs on each side. There's a final piece we'll be bringing to you, some small easements for some of the roundings along that roadway. But we expect to move forward with that bidding and construction summer, fall, and into next spring. We're looking at doing an overlane on a portion of Race Lane, reconstruction of the public portion of Old Strawberry Hill Road, and then we're looking at doing some mill and paving on a section of Shootfly Hill Road. And again, our crack sealing and chip sealing program, as well as multiple drainage sites throughout the community.
The Town Council unanimously approved a $3.2 million request to fund road and drainage system repairs.
And just a quick reminder that you can watch the Town Council meetings on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
Meanwhile, as far as the town calendar is concerned, there are no meetings scheduled tonight. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Frew.
We'll meet you right back here on Monday. I'm Mark Mumford.